We're going to be looking over the next few videos of a Pew Research study that discusses the wealth gap. And I'm going to break this into several pieces because it would be about a 40 to 50 minute video if it was one, and I don't think most people will watch 40 to 50 minutes. So we're going to go over this study piece by piece and look at refutations. It is very inaccurate, and it's not so much that Pew is inaccurate. Pew is definitely inaccurate on their study, but they're not. The problem with their study is that it's written in a way which the media have gone nuts over this, and the media are trying to use this as proof that the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer, which is very inaccurate. But here's the study and I highly suggest reading it, highly suggest reading everything about this by Richard and Rakesh here. America's wealth gap between middle income and upper income families is the widest on record, and here's a chart showing, and you can see the upper income right now has 6.6 times more median net worth than your middle income families. So some of the assertions that I've seen in the media, and there's no possible way I could highlight every single article, but you have like the rich are getting richer, this is the typical statement, the poor are getting poorer, people aren't doing well, the middle class is dying. I mean, these are just various assertions, and my question is this true? Right? Is this very true? And I would highly suggest reading this article. You can see, for instance, a highlight that the upper income family $639,400 and middle income family $96,500. Okay, I mean, and read this article. Is it true that the middle income is doing bad and is getting wiped out, and the upper income is doing better and is taking over, or whatever? There is a very interesting comment, and this is the part that we're going to cover for part one, by Tim McCormick. I highly recommend reading this full thing. In a nutshell, what Tim highlights is that this study is not looking at families as they change over time. What that means is I'm not looking at someone in their 20s and following that person through their 50s, and you'll see why that's very important in a second. Now, he may say he's not a statistician, but any good statistician, and I know because I do heavy data work, is going to immediately see the flaw in this study, because by not looking at the same people over a period of time, you actually haven't proven anything. And by the way, just to highlight this, Richard, who is one of the people in the study, admits that they're not being followed. Interesting. Nothing in this blog post here says that. So be very careful here. Now you can start to already see how the media are going to take this and go in wrong directions with this. So let's look at some Federal Reserve data. This comes from Wikipedia, but it's actually quoted from the Federal Reserve, as you see. And this is the family net worth by selected characteristics of family. Now, in part one here, I'm going to cover something that should be very obvious. What do you think is the difference between an upper income family and a middle income family? Just take a guess. It's pretty obvious. Some of you will be able to immediately figure this one out. But just take a guess. Pause the video and take a guess. Okay, now that you've guessed, perhaps an upper income family is the household heads are more experienced, so maybe they're older. Maybe if we look at age, maybe age might explain why a family makes more money or has more wealth than a family who's younger. I mean, would that be true? Would you think that somebody who's, let's say, 25 and has a family probably has less wealth than someone who's 60 and has a family? Let's think about it. Let's go ahead and look at the data, okay? We're going to be looking at median because mean is not an accurate measure at all of wealth or net worth. And that would get, I don't want to take too long to explain that, but in a nutshell, you can do the research and you'll see that I'm right. Mean is very inaccurate. The bottom can weigh too much, or the top can weigh too much. So the median looks at the right smack dab in the middle. Let's look at age of head of the household, right? Years. So less than 35, what do you think the median wealth is? Well, we see it's $10,000, right? This is measuring in thousands of dollars, thousands of $2013. $10,000 isn't much money, right? That's how much wealth is. So less than 35 years old. What about 35 to 44? $47,000. Well, let's, what did I say earlier? I said 60. So let's look at this, where the 60-year-olds would be, right here, 55 to 64. And they would be at $165,000. That's their net worth. We look at 65 to 74, and we have $232,000. I just want to point this out. Look at how much wealth the average 65 to 74-year-old has compared to the average 35-year-old. Yeah, over 20 times more wealth. Whoa! Talk about wealth inequality. Why are we biased in favor of old people? Is that what's going on? But you realize how absurd this study is right here from Pew. They're actually expected to be taken seriously, and you can immediately look at age and say, wait, I'm just curious, Pew. Why don't you tell me how old is this group of people right here? Hold on, where is it at? How old is the average head of household of this family of the upper income versus the middle income? Go ahead, read it. Where's age at? Where's age? Let's see. Where's the age at? How old is this person? What's the median age we're talking about here? Somehow it's not there. And I'm amazed at how many articles I read on the internet highlighting this study that didn't point that out. I mean, you don't have to be a genius statistician to go look at this and say, wait. Okay, so what age are we talking about? So, from the start, at the very beginning, part 1, think about the age of a person, right? It might be that the upper income family at one point was the middle income family. It might be the same family. It may just be 15 years later. I mean, think about it. Most people get paid more as they have more years of experience. I don't know of very many industries that are the exception to that rule. If you don't believe me, ask a mechanical engineer with 1 year of experience, a mechanical engineer with 15 years of experience, if he or she knew as much at 15 years that he or she knew in his or her first year as a mechanical engineer. I have never spoken to one who's like, oh yeah, my first year I knew everything and I actually am dumber now than I was then. That just doesn't happen. They usually know more in time, right? And that's the point. In time, you do make more money, and you also start to accumulate wealth. So, part 1, look at age. How does age factor? What is the median age of these groups? What is the median age of the head of household of these groups? And why is it that Richard and Rakesh didn't include that?